This boy is really unfortunate, as he already suffers from diabetes. The boy also had his leg broken by someone, and was about to become food for his classmates turned zombies. What happened to these people? What turned them into unconscious cannibal monsters? Just a few days ago, a biological factory next to the school exploded, and the pollution engulfed the air like a dark cloud. People transformed into zombies after inhaling it. In the midst of chaos, a group of students arrived at a shelter. However, the captain ran out to seek help. Soon after, he returned with some people, including employees from the chemical plant. Were they there to rescue the classmates? Or did they have other intentions? The story begins with the captain walking out of the classroom building. After he spotted the ambulance, the captain intended to use the radio in the vehicle to send a distress signal. However, fate seemed to play a trick on him. Just as he was about to complete this crucial action, the captain wielded a stick he had found, successfully fending off the zombies. After the intense battle, the captain realized time was running out, and needed to act quickly, so he drove his car, with the last glimmer of hope, to the police station. There, he found a group of normal people. The captain called for help without hesitation, only to fall into unconsciousness shortly after. When he woke up again, he found himself lying in a hospital bed, receiving intravenous therapy. Officer Amy told him he had been severely dehydrated from prolonged exposure to the contaminated environment, with dangerously high blood sugar levels. If he wasn't treated promptly, the consequences would be unimaginable. Despite the life-threatening situation, the captain was always worried about his companions. He detailed the situation in the classroom building to Amy, but Amy and her assistant, who appeared to be police, were actually employees of the biological factory. The two were whispering to each other, and the captain's instincts told him that things were far from simple. He might be caught in a conspiracy. To save his life, he pried open the lock and escaped. In the hallway, he discovered that people were conducting human experiments. The researchers treated the subjects as though they were not human, and randomly shot and killed a person with an abnormal growth on the back of their neck. After Amy and her partner noticed the captain was missing, they searched everywhere, unaware that the captain had donned a protective suit and escaped through the window. The captain eventually drove the ambulance back to school. During this crisis, a mysterious man witnessed the captain's entire escape. He wasn't wearing a gas mask, yet showed no signs of infection whatsoever. After returning to the classroom building, the captain told his girlfriend Alice, an IT man, about the incident. However, he discovered that the two had been together while he was away. This revelation shocked and angered him. He questioned Alice why she betrayed him. Alice replied that it was just for fun. Faced with such shameless behavior, the captain chose to forgive her. Afterward, Alice and the IT guy informed the others about the captain's return. When everyone heard the news, they all hid behind the classroom podium. At this moment, Amy and her team were chasing after them, holding handguns, searching each room one by one. The situation was critical. The captain stepped forward and voluntarily revealed that he had bought time for his classmates to escape. After Amy captured the captain, she took him to the broadcasting room and threatened him to reveal the whereabouts of the others. Faced with Amy's coercion and temptation, the captain remained loyal and resolutely refused to disclose any information. In her anger, Amy violently attacked the captain, breaking one of his fingers. Meanwhile, Amy's assistants were searching inside the classroom building. The students began to plan a counterattack. The IT guy suggested using the radio to contact Amy, pretending that headquarters ordered her to be diverted. Grover was responsible for creating chaos, providing cover for the IT guy to enter the communication room and operate the radio. However, one of Amy's subordinates discovered them and intended to kill Grover. At a critical moment, Grover pulled out a card with his own picture on it. Unexpectedly, he managed to convince the subordinate to back off. Diesel jumped out and knocked out the opponent with a stick. At this moment, the IT guy tried to connect with Amy's radio, but he was unsuccessful. Fortunately, they killed the subordinate and used his radio to send a distress signal to Amy, pretending to be a subordinate requesting her assistance. Amy did not notice anything unusual, and she dragged the captain towards the laboratory. The captain took advantage of Amy's distraction and suddenly elbowed her from behind. Then the captain prepared to turn and flee, but Amy was incredibly strong. She quickly knocked the captain down, and then she grabbed his leg and twisted it hard. With a crack, breaking his leg, the noise attracted a few zombies, and Amy realized the situation was dire. She seized the opportunity to escape. Amy thought that the captain would be eaten by the zombies, but he was rescued by Grover and others nearby. With the classroom building filled with zombies, Amy realized that the students would be eaten by them, and she decided to lead her subordinates to retreat. The surviving students regrouped, and the crisis was temporarily averted. Then, the IT guy asked the captain a question. During his explorations outside, did he come across mutated or infected wildlife? The captain then revealed a secret. Those who had undergone human experimentation all had an abnormal growth on the back of their necks. This characteristic might be the key to the experiments. Meanwhile, due to his diabetes, the captain's blood sugar levels had been extremely high. He was highly susceptible to infection, and if he didn't receive antibiotics in time, he faced the risk of amputation. After learning this, Grover stepped up and decided to go to the ambulance to find life-saving antibiotics for the captain. Grover is fully armed. He bravely took that step forward. But the zombies showed no interest in him at all, and they walked in the same direction. On the other side, Diesel encountered this strange situation as well. He was hunting zombies in the classroom building, seeking revenge for Adeline. Unexpectedly, the zombies he had knocked down got back up, as if they were heading somewhere to regroup with other zombies. Grover's actions didn't go as smoothly as expected either. In the ambulance, he didn't find the antibiotics he needed, so Grover decided to drive to the pharmacy for help. But unfortunately, as soon as he entered the pharmacy, Grover was struck down. He fell into unconsciousness. As Grover faced this crisis, the captain, as a lonely patient, eventually could no longer bear the solitude. He stepped outside with a cane to look for his companions. However, he accidentally collided with the mysterious man and caused the captain to fall to the ground. Alice heard the noise and came to assist. While the mysterious man quickly fled the scene, the captain told Alice that there were others in the building, but Alice dismissed it as a hallucination caused by the captain's diabetes. After helping the captain into a room, more and more zombies gathered outside. The IT guy speculated that it might be the scent of rotting flesh on the captain that attracted them. At this time, Grover had not yet returned, and they prayed that he would return with the medicine soon. After Grover woke up in the pharmacy, Zane hurried over to apologize to him. He mistakenly thought Grover was a zombie, which was why he had hurt him. Besides Zane, there were 5 other survivors in the pharmacy. They had exhausted the food supplies in the store, and they hoped to follow Grover back to the school to replenish their water supply. As a compassionate person, he ultimately agreed to lead them back to the school on the side of the classroom building. Nevertheless, Diesel and the others began to feel exhausted. The captain realized the crisis outside and begged the IT guy to kill him. In exchange for the team's safety, the IT guy was not an emotional person, and he ended the captain's life without hesitation. Perhaps, for the zombies, the living were more appealing. The captain's death caused the zombies to lose interest, and then they left. Soon after, Grover returned with antibiotics from outside. He happily shared the good news with everyone. However, Grover learned of the captain's death. He felt deep sorrow inside, and then Grover introduced the survivors from the pharmacy. They had nowhere to go, so they decided to join the group. However, the IT guy expressed strong dissatisfaction with this. He believed that the resources in the building were limited, and that he and his companions didn't have enough, so how could they share with others? Despite this, there was no point in discussing this now, as those people had already arrived, and they could not be driven away. They could only remain vigilant to prevent a similar incident like John's from happening again. Alice learned from their conversation that Zane had worked at the biochemical factory. She informed the IT guy and others of this news, and this revelation made everyone feel tense. To clarify the suspicion, Zane hurriedly explained that he is just a security guard and had not been privy to any confidential information, let alone the matter of killing. He also emphasized that if he really wanted to kill, Grover would have been a victim long ago. This statement made sense, and everyone chose to trust Zane for the time being. At this moment, Ada walked into the room and discovered that Zane was her ex-boyfriend who had abandoned her. Fate seemed to be playing a joke on her. When Zane saw Ada, he felt a complex mix of emotions. Initially, just because Zane had chatted with another woman, she had blown up her own car. However, this action indirectly proved that Zane had indeed worked at the factory, but he was not in a high position. Zane only did odd jobs. The IT guy noticed that Zane and the others were carrying weapons. For safety reasons, he ultimately convinced everyone to confine the outsiders in the shelter. The others had no complaints about this, because they hadn't enjoyed a peaceful night's sleep for a long time. Now being able to rest in a bed was already a luxury for them. After everyone had fallen asleep, Abby and her brother left the shelter. They unexpectedly ran into Diesel, and soon, the IT guy and the others learned of this situation, and detained Abby's brother along with Zane's weapons. They locked the firearms in a cabinet. Abby and her brother explained that they were just not used to spending the night in the shelter, and that they had already surrendered their weapons, and posed no threat to them. Grover and the others did not look into this matter further, and he brought them back to the shelter again. Afterward, the brother did not understand why Abby had to surrender their weapons. This is an important tool for self-protection for them. Abby explained that, while weapons were important, what mattered more was that they could not let others discover that they were carrying a radio. This was crucial for their escape from there. On the other side, Dick was skating down the hallway late at night when he ran into the mysterious man. The man was stealing weapons from the cabinet. The mysterious man directly stabbed Dick to death. In reality, the mysterious man was an infected carrier of the bioweapon virus. Not only had he not turned into a zombie, but his strength had increased dramatically. He possessed superhuman abilities. However, no one was aware of this, and they continued to suspect each other. Grover and his friends did not trust Abby and her brother, and they keenly sensed that the two of them were definitely suspicious. Zane had been around them for a few days, and he should have some understanding of them. Then, Ada asked Zane if he had noticed any unusual behavior from Abby and her brother. Zane recalled the scene when they first met. He met his siblings in a BMW car. At that time, they were asking Zane for help, and he had extended a helping hand out of kindness. However, he had not noticed any signs of abnormality. The only thing that puzzled him was that they seemed unusually cautious. Even when going to the restroom, they kept watch over each other. If they split up, there must be a hidden secret among them. Meanwhile, Abby was not idle either. She pretended to be kind, and tried to get closer to Alice, seeking to sow discord among the group. Alice was a naive person, and she was easily swayed by Abby's words. Alice revealed that her boyfriend, the captain, had died from an infected wound. She was unable to accompany him through his final moments. Alice deeply regrets. At that time, everyone was busy fighting the zombie crisis, and they overlooked the others in the room. The IT guy and the captain both were interested in Alice, and they became rivals for her affection. Abby guided Alice to question the true cause of the captain's death. She suggested that perhaps the cause of death was not the infected wound, but rather an intentional act by the IT guy, because as long as the captain was killed, he could be with Alice. The latter firmly believes in this, and she hurried to find the IT guy to question him for the truth. Faced with Alice's inquiries, the IT guy chose to lie to protect her. He claimed that the captain had died a hero, and he died peacefully. He had not forgotten Alice in his final moments, though the girl still had doubts. But Grover suddenly burst in and interrupted the conversation. He hurriedly stated that the weapons in the storage cabinet had been stolen. Faced with this unexpected situation, they immediately locked Abby and the others in a cage, and launched a comprehensive search operation, ensuring that no potential suspects would be overlooked. Just as Diesel was about to enter the room for a deeper investigation, a noise interrupted him. It turned out to be Amanda screaming, and Diesel quickly rushed to her side. After Diesel left, the mysterious man hiding in the room let out a sigh of relief. He grabbed a package and escaped the scene, but in the end, he was still spotted by Diesel. Diesel also discovered that he was carrying a weapon, and the gun was likely the one stolen by the mysterious man. On the other side, Amy's brother had a panic attack, and he urgently needed medication to calm down. Ada and Alice teamed up to search for the medication. During the process, Ada mentioned the captain's death. She told Alice that the IT guy said the captain died from a chemical drug, which caused him to have constant high fevers, and his body kept convulsing, resulting in a particularly painful death. Alice then understood and realized she had been deceived. Alice firmly believed that the IT guy had intentionally killed the captain. Immediately after, Ada saw his name on the medication for her brother, which revealed the true identity of the siblings. They were from the Keller family of the chemical factory, and the ones who had come to eliminate them earlier were also sent by their family. The siblings had hidden their last name, further confirming that the IT guy's suspicions about them were not unfounded. Then, Diesel revealed the matter of the mysterious man to everyone, which cleared Zane and Helen of suspicion. They were able to regain their freedom, while Abby and her brother were forced to confess everything. It turned out that they had a helicopter, and that with the push of a button, the aircraft would come to their aid. Their midnight operation was to escape, and if they were freed, they promised to lead everyone out of danger. On the other side, the mysterious man returned to his hideout, which was a van. Inside were an elderly man and a woman, and the woman asked the mysterious man what he had brought back. The man replied that he had found a new shelter. Clearly, they were planning to seize the classroom building as a base. Although Abby and her brother were willing to lead everyone to evacuate, the IT guy raised concerns. He believed they were not trustworthy, and at the IT guy's suggestion, Abby and her brother were locked up again. At this time, Alice caused trouble again. She questioned why the IT man told her that the captain's cause of death was different from what he told Ada. The IT guy explained that it was to prevent Alice from feeling hurt. At that time, the doors and windows were crowded with zombies, and they could burst in at any moment. The captain had asked him to take action, as his body had deteriorated, sacrificing himself to protect everyone. Faced with such an explanation, Alice still could not accept it, and she lashed out at the IT guy. In the end, she joined Zane's group, and together they plotted how to lure Diesel away from the cage, so that Abby and the others could escape. Alice wasn't very sharp, but fortunately, Ada and Grover understood the situation. The two understood that the IT guy's actions were for the greater good, and they respected and understood his decision. They held no resentment toward him. On Alice's side, she tearfully revealed to Diesel that the captain did not die a natural death, but had been killed by the IT guy. After hearing this news, Diesel angrily went to confront the IT guy. It was the captain who went out to seek help on behalf of Diesel, which can be considered as saving his life. When the IT guy saw Diesel, he immediately realized it was Alice's scheme, but it was too late for everything. Abby and her brother had already been released by Alice. The former had even found firearms, and she threatened the IT guy to hand over the signal transmitter. With no choice, the IT guy had to compromise. Alice led Abby and the others to the rooftop terrace. However, they found the area outside filled with zombies. They had no choice but to take another route, which was the narrow path through the stairs. During the climb, they encountered an attack from zombies. They finally reached the entrance to the rooftop, only to find that the signal transmitter was damaged. After checking, they discovered that a crucial part was missing, and they had no choice but to return to the classroom building. Unfortunately, Amanda was dead. During this time, the others put on gas masks and prepared to evacuate. They understood that once the Kellers arrived, the situation would not improve. Staying in the classroom building would mean certain death. But just as they were about to leave, Alice and the others suddenly burst in. Abby held a firearm and threatened the IT guy to hand over the parts. Confronted with this unexpected situation, the IT guy felt confused because he hadn't done anything. At this moment, Grover stepped forward, clarifying the facts. Grover explained that he was the one who had removed the part, and it was not the IT guy's doing. Immediately after, they searched Grover's bag to look for the missing part. To their surprise, they found a target card inside the bag. Diesel was shocked by this. He realized that the reason the Kellers hadn't targeted Grover last time was because he was the target they had been looking for. Zane had worked at this factory, so he had some understanding of the internal situation. Upon learning Grover's father's name, Zane immediately realized that Grover's father was the doctor at the chemical factory. His concealment of his identity had caused Grover to lose the trust of others, including that of Ada, whom he loved deeply. No one wanted to pay him any attention. At this moment, it was raining outside, and thunder followed closely after the lightning. The dejected Grover prepared to leave alone. However, a hand grabbed his shoulder. It was the IT guy. He was willing to go with Grover. At this critical moment, he was the only one still willing to believe in him. Then, Grover and the IT guy set off in an ambulance, but the vehicle soon stalled. The IT guy got out to check the situation, and he found that the wheels were unable to move.
The road's partially washed away and the wheel's stuck. We're gonna have to find a board or something.
Grover and the IT guy were forced to hide behind the vehicle. In order to protect themselves, the IT guy activated the defibrillator and successfully stunned the zombies. Meanwhile, Abby and her group decided to wait until the rain subsided. Due to the bad weather before leaving, they started playing Truth or Dare. Ada chose Dare, she dared Abby to go to the Greek classroom to retrieve the iPad. However, Abby did not follow the rules, and she entered the archives, loudly broadcasting Diesel's embarrassing moments. This action caused resentment among the group. In the apocalypse, Abby was no longer the princess she once was. People were no longer tolerant of her. Her brother was also displeased, and he scolded Abby. The girl brought up the past, saying that the reason her brother's ex-girlfriend left him was because of her interference. In Abby's eyes, everyone who approached them was due to their family's prominence, coveting their wealth. After her brother learned the truth, he felt extremely angry. The trust between him and Abby shattered. In the chaos, the brother brought alcohol for everyone to celebrate their impending escape. Everyone drank comfortably, and then they fell into a deep sleep. When they woke up, they found that the brother was missing. The signal transmitter was also gone. It turned out he added medicine to the wine, and after everyone fell asleep, the brother used the signal transmitter to contact the Kellers. They piloted a helicopter to come to his aid. The brother also informed them that Abby and the others at the school had unfortunately perished. At the school, after the brother left alone on the plane, Abby fell into loneliness and became the outcast in everyone's eyes. Abby lost her utility. However, as Abby sank into sadness, kind-hearted Zane found her, and he took the initiative to comfort her. But he never expected that Abby would directly kiss Zane. This scene was witnessed by Alice, and she only saw Zane and Abby kissing, but she didn't see the boy push her away. So, she told Ada about it, and Ada was very angry. She had been betrayed by men multiple times. Grover had deceived her, and Zane's infidelity made her start to question herself. Was she really the fabled unlucky person? Meanwhile, the mysterious man and his 3 companions stepped into an abandoned shipping container, searching for survival supplies. Angela and the mysterious man were both level 2 infected, and while they could resist the toxic gas, they wouldn't be infected and turned into zombies, and they could breathe freely in the toxic gas. However, this mutation also had its weaknesses. For example, Angela, when zombies approached her, she would uncontrollably tremble. Fate seemed to enjoy playing tricks on people. Just as the zombies were closing in on the container, Angela began to tremble uncontrollably. This triggered disaster. The mysterious man delivered a fatal blow, ending the assault. However, the battle was not over yet. More zombies surged in, and the situation became chaotic. After an intense confrontation, the mysterious man and Jack successfully repelled the enemies, but one companion was unfortunately bitten. Jack did not hesitate to end his companion's life. Then, they arrived at a restaurant to search for food, preparing to replenish their strength. Jack forced the girl to drink alcohol, and this hard-hearted man had long become a public enemy. If it weren't for his agility, the others would not have accepted him. In a corner of the restaurant, Angela and the girl found a quiet space. They embraced each other, revealing that they were a couple. After a hearty meal, the mysterious man and his group decided to set off to seize the classroom building. Meanwhile, Grover and the IT guy embarked on their journey out of the city. However, they were shocked to find that the city gate was blocked. This is obviously the work of those people in the chemical plant, and they could only turn to choose an alternate route to exit the city through the fire escape. On the way, they happened to pass by Grover's house. Out of curiosity, Grover decided to get out and take a look. The nameplate at the door was covered in dust, and the entire house had been destroyed by fire. The warm memories of the past had been obliterated, and Grover couldn't help but shed tears. After he adjusted his mood, they continued on their way. They arrived at the IT guy's residence. In comparison, the IT guy's house was still relatively intact, though it was a bit messy inside. However, his family was nowhere to be found. Just as they were about to leave, was it a zombie? The IT guy carefully opened the door with his cane, only to find it was his brother's toys making a mess. Then the IT guy took out a document from the safe, handing it to Grover. The cold text revealed the dark truth about the biochemical factory conducting human experiments, and in order to conceal the truth, constantly hunting down survivors. Coincidentally, the executor of this plan was Grover's father. Faced with such a cruel reality, Grover found it hard to believe, but he had to accept the reality. So he continued to flee with the IT guy. Not far away, they discovered a house with lights on. The two thought there might be survivors there, and they walked in to check. At this moment, a woman appeared holding a taser, and warned them not to come near her brother. The IT guy looked closely and realized Wasn't this his acquaintance Elena? After their reunion, Elena recounted the situation with her brother Tom. A few days ago, Tom had become abnormal after going to school, and after coming home, he began attacking humans. Elena couldn't bring herself to kill him, so she chained him up instead. She firmly believed that, as long as a vaccine was developed, Tom would be saved. However, her parents went missing. While looking for a way out with the dog, she always held on to her parents' wishes. Elena had been listening to the news on the television, but she had not received any rescue information. The IT guy suggested that Elena accompany them, as he believed continuing to care for her mutated brother was not a good plan. But Elena was unwilling to give up on Tom, and in order to keep him alive, she cooked meat for Tom. However, Tom showed no interest in it, having not eaten for several days. While waiting, Elena asked Grover to check if Tom had eaten the food. At this moment, the television aired a news report indicating that the city was no longer habitable, and all the intersections had been blocked off. The government called on all survivors to gather at the checkpoints. Government officials would be waiting there. The IT guy noticed a dog collar on the table, and he realized that Elena's parents might not have taken the dog outside, and perhaps the dog had been eaten by Tom. Just then, Grover let out a desperate cry for help. The IT guy immediately rushed into the room, and he helped Grover fend off Tom's attack. Fortunately, he arrived in time, and Grover was not bitten by Tom. It turned out that Elena had already planned this in her mind. From the moment they stepped in here, she had no intention of letting them leave. At the moment the IT guy bound Tom with the chain, Elena immediately sprang into action, planning to use the taser to launch an attack on her old friend. However, unexpectedly, when the IT guy released Tom's chain, now the problem is solved. Elena's wish has finally come true, and she can be with her brother forever. The IT guy and Grover realized the danger, and decided to evacuate quickly. Meanwhile, at the school, when the mysterious man and his companions entered the classroom building, they happened to encounter Helen. She hurriedly turned to run away. Jack ruthlessly threw a dart, stabbed her leg. Helen endured the pain, and pulled out the dart to continue her escape. Diesel rushed over upon hearing the commotion, and he assisted her in escaping danger. They had no choice but to hide in the shelter, to look for an opportunity to escape. Meanwhile, Ada was still wandering in the hallway, when she accidentally picked up Helen's dropped phone. At the moment, Ada entered the classroom. The mysterious man and his group followed closely behind. He stated that they would conduct a search, and directly kill the living. During this process, Ada found Abby, and she informed her of the situation as she knew it. Ada pleaded to go together, to rescue Diesel and the others, but Abby began to hesitate, thinking it unnecessary to help people who had nothing to do with her. She preferred to use her time to seek her own safety. After Abby left, Ada ran into Angela in the hall. Angela quickly chased after her, but Ada, familiar with the environment, successfully escaped, and hid in the restroom. Angela followed closely behind, and checked each restroom stall one by one. Just as she was about to approach Ada, a noise came from the hallway. Angela immediately turned and left. In fact, the sound was intentionally made by Abby, with the aim of saving Ada. Abby finally realized that it was difficult to survive alone in the apocalyptic world, and she needed the help of her companions. So Abby decided to team up with Ada to jointly rescue their companions. On Diesel's side, he successfully opened the wall behind the shelter, and they indeed discovered a hidden secure door. Alice was the first to enter, and she explored the situation behind the secret wall and found that the group speculated that the skull bore a mark indicating he might have been a construction worker. As for why he was trapped here, they had no idea. On Grover's side, he and the IT guy drove to a checkpoint, which the government had established after the explosion at the biochemical factory, to provide survivors with basic survival resources and medical assistance, including food, drinking water, and vaccines to combat the biochemical virus. However, when they stepped into the tent at the checkpoint, the sight before them shocked them. There lay rows of fresh corpses, their arms covered in terrifying needle marks. In fact, every survivor had died from being injected with toxic fluid. The two were well aware of past lessons, and they no longer trusted anyone easily. Taking advantage of the staff's negligence, they quietly slipped into the tent, and they changed into the staff's clothing. They cleverly blended into the employee area, and there they watched the latest news broadcast. A glamorous female anchor deliberately avoided mentioning the zombie incident, and instead announced to the nation that the city had suffered a terrorist attack. It had become a no-go zone, and it was expected to remain locked down for decades. This scene made Grover and the IT guy doubt whether the government was covering up the truth about the biochemical factory, and even involved in the conspiracy of live experiments. After Abby's brother escaped, he also gave an interview to the media, and similarly did not discuss the zombie topic, which made them realize that the Keller Group might have bribed government officials. They spread false information to maintain the lie. All survivors needed to be eliminated for the purpose of silencing them. In the chaos, they accidentally discovered a computer. The IT guy seized the opportunity to hack into the Keller factory system and obtained a report titled Project Wednesday. It revealed detailed information about the plan, with level 1 test subjects being zombies who exhibited extremely aggressive behavior. Abandon the level 2 test subjects, including the mysterious man and Angela. Although they maintain their sanity and enhanced physical abilities, they also suffer from various complications. They can only be used as tools temporarily, while the conditions for level 3 test subjects are more balanced. They have no obvious shortcomings, so they require further observation and retrieval. Grover realized that he was one of the level 3 test subjects. At this moment, the network administrator of the Keller factory discovered a system vulnerability. He immediately mobilized guards to conduct a search to save their lives. Grover and the IT guy packed their things to prepare for escape. Before leaving, Grover took a photo as a souvenir. Then, soldiers quickly discovered them and relentlessly pursued the two. During the chase, he urged the IT guy to run ahead and not look back. Grover claimed he was a level 3 test subject and that he would not be harmed. After Grover said this, he removed his gas mask and intended to inhale the toxic gas to mutate in order to avoid becoming a test subject. Unfortunately, after some time, he had not mutated. Ultimately, Grover was carried into the checkpoint by the researchers. Inside the classroom building, Ada and Abby were planning a rescue operation. Their goal was to rescue the trapped Diesel and others. One held a taser, and the other held a bow and arrow. They were ready to take action, trying to seize the initiative. Ada quietly approached Jack and took swift action while Jack was off guard. Ada knocked him unconscious with the taser. Then she picked up a knife and intended to cut his carotid artery. But at the crucial moment, Ada hesitated. She couldn't bring herself to take a life, and ultimately, Ada abandoned the idea. She chose to flee the scene. Ada lost her earlier advantage. Meanwhile, Abby hit the mysterious man, but this injury was of no consequence to the mysterious man. He easily pulled the arrow out of him, and then turned to chase after Abby. They had to evade him. Fortunately, when the two escaped into a room, they encountered a girl. She unexpectedly became their savior. Just as they were about to surrender, the girl suddenly changed her stance and became their guide. The girl led them around their pursuers, and they successfully avoided danger. Afterward, the girl confessed to Ada that she was very unhappy with Jack and her disgust for his violent behavior. The girl only desired to escape this place and did not want to become a killer. Faced with difficult circumstances, Ada and Abby would not refuse, with the addition of new strength, thus increasing their team from 2 to 3. On the other side, Angela discovered that the girl was missing. As she was about to go out to search, Ada appeared, holding the girl hostage. She used this as leverage to negotiate. Ada demanded the release of Diesel and the others. Angela was the first to agree, because the girl was the woman he loved deeply. The mysterious man only wanted to take over the classroom building, and he had no intention of harming the innocent. The mysterious man also agreed to this request. However, Jack opposed it. He firmly opposed releasing the hostages, and pointed out that Ada's action was just stalling for time. He was correct. Just as the two sides were discussing, Abby had already entered the basement. She successfully freed Diesel and the others, and had them put on gas masks. Jack ignored Ada's threat. At this moment, Diesel and the others arrived at the classroom. They witnessed Ada's tragic fate. They prepared to take revenge for her. The girl fired a shot at Jack, but due to her poor aim, she not only missed her target, but shattered a distant window, allowing toxic gas to seep in. Zombies outside rushed into the classroom at the sound. Jack was the first to be attacked, and was grabbed by a zombie, which began to bite him. Jack instantly lost his ability to fight back, and the mysterious man was also grabbed by a zombie. Falling to the ground, unable to protect himself, the group realized that it was no longer safe here, and Diesel, Alice, and the others began to retreat. Zane accused the girl of causing Ada's death. He prepared to kill her. Angela stepped forward to defend her woman, saying that they were all facing the apocalypse together. and they had no need to harm each other. They were all victims of this disaster. Jack's death was not important, but the mysterious man's loss was regrettable. Angela tried to rush in to save them, but the girl stopped her, because if Angela came into contact with a zombie, it would trigger an epileptic seizure. Not only would he be unable to rescue the mysterious man, but it would also endanger his own life. Soon after, Angela looked back into the room again, and discovered that the mysterious man had vanished. It seemed he was not dead yet. Afterward, as everyone gathered to mourn Ada, Angela suddenly collapsed, and began to convulse. It was evident that someone among them had inhaled the toxic gas, and had begun to mutate. After escaping from the checkpoint, the IT guy ran toward a car. Just as he was about to drive away, a zombie's hand suddenly reached out from the back seat. The IT guy reacted quickly, grabbing a bottle next to him, and knocked the zombie down. After this life-and-death confrontation, the IT guy began to hallucinate, as if he saw Grover reappearing in his world. Grover's face was filled with reproach, and he repeatedly emphasized that it was the IT guy who caused the destruction of the entire team. In his moment of despair, his hacker teammate Anna appeared just in time, and she gently awoke the IT guy with her voice. Anna reassured him that it was safe now. Meanwhile, Grover, who was taken into the checkpoint by the researchers, did not mutate as expected, but instead, he was gradually regaining consciousness, on a high-tech medical bed, and sitting beside the bed was his father, who was closely associated with the biochemical virus. Thus, the second season comes to an end. The film Freakish Season 2, with the introduction of new characters, the protagonists find themselves in even greater crises. They not only have to face the threat of zombies, but also the betrayal of the living, especially Grover, who inadvertently discovered that this massive biochemical conspiracy was actually connected to his own father, and he found out that he was also a test subject. If you enjoy my channel, please click subscribe.